We're glad you could join us today for our webinar. They're not just for restaurants and razors, why lawyers need online reviews and how to get them. Our speakers today are Leah Smith, Vice President of Education Marketing with Satisfax, Christopher Bryant, Search Engine Marketing Manager with Martindale-Hubbell, and Brian Veeder, Ratings Product Manager, also with Martindale-Hubbell. Okay, our agenda today is as follows. We're going to start with the facts about ratings, then move on to SEO and SEM benefits, getting reviews, the benefits of Martindale-Hubbell reviews, and finally responding to reviews. A little bit of housekeeping right now. This webinar will be recorded and available for download after the event. Please feel free to ask questions at any time during the webinar using the Q&A feature on your toolbar. We will try to answer questions during the webinar as well as during the Q&A session at the end. If we don't get to your question during the webinar, we will try and fit it in again at the Q&A session at the end. So we would like to start off with a brief poll. Have online reviews ever impacted your purchasing decisions? So I'm going to share that poll with you. And then our first presenter, Leah, will take over and discuss your answers in this question.
All right, so we have 97% of you out there who have voted yes. Online reviews have impacted your purchasing decision. And that's not surprising. The majority of us selected yes. As a whole, we've become accustomed to factoring in the opinions of others into our decision-making process, just sort of how things are going now, whether it be where to eat, what movie to go see, or even a major purchase such as a car or a home. We know that online reviews now add another layer to the process. And in many cases, online reviews can be that final piece of information that makes us say yes or even no as to what we spend our money on. So I know that there are some of you out there who have been looking at online reviews, and it could either kind of been that final little nudge that you needed to go ahead and say, you know what, I think I'm going to spend my money on that. Or it could have been the thing that says, you know what, too many people out there are saying this is not the way to go. I'm going to keep looking, or I'm going to do a little bit more research. So we know that the online reviews are important. And we're trying to just kind of get a gauge, test the temperature in the room, if you will. So what we're finding, we have some facts to back up what everyone else has already told us with the poll. Bright Local conducted a study of over 2,500 participants, and they found that 92% of people read online reviews to determine whether a local business is a good business. And on this call, we have 97%. In fact, the same study determined that 40% of consumers form an opinion by reading just 1 to 3 reviews, and 73% form an opinion by the time they have read 6 reviews. And I think a lot of us who are on the call today could fall into one of those 2 categories. If we get, we're in a purchasing decision and we see 3 really negative, inflammatory reviews, that has almost as much of an impact as 3 really positive reviews. And then as we're looking and we see consistency, each review is sort of echoing that same sentiment, whether good or bad. By the time we get to 6, we feel pretty solid about that product or that company. 60% of consumers in that same study rated the star rating as the #1 factor that they use to judge a business. So the bottom line here is that it's all about the visuals. That's why you see a lot of ratings and review sites going with things like up to 4 stars or up to 5 stars, things that are very impactful visually to someone who is researching. Another study, this one was done by review trackers. They determined that 83% check lawyer reviews as the first step to finding an attorney. And in that same study, 70% of clients are willing to go to an attorney's office in a less convenient location if that attorney has better reviews and higher ratings than legal professionals who are closer to their home. So if you're thinking, in terms of prospects, gas is a premium right now. It's a luxury item, and it's also a necessity. So people are very, they think about those things in terms of where my money's going, what am I spending my money on, and to say that they are willing to forego that expense, go even further, not only gas, but traffic and time and all that kind of good stuff, based on what they're reading online about that attorney, this has a major impact. So I'm going to turn this over now to Chris, who's going to give you some great insight as to the SEO and SEM benefits of online reviews.
Thank you, Leah. Now, you're probably all familiar with search engine optimization, which is the process of optimizing your website to appear well in Google. Your marketing teams probably tell us around things like title tags, meta descriptions, and fresh content. So how do online reviews play into all this, and why should they be a part of your marketing plan, especially considering they happen on third-party websites? Well, if you Googled yourself, your law firm, or another business, you probably noticed that your search engine result page are taken over with star ratings and client reviews. So right off the bat, this is providing a huge influence, a huge influence to the user. They're looking at the star ratings, deciding who they're going to call. No longer are they just searching for a divorce lawyer and clicking on the first site that comes up and making them their attorney. Instead, they're going to Google a few businesses to find out who's going to be a good fit for them. They want to see what other clients are saying about that attorney. So not necessarily the first client is going to be the one with the best rating. So it's important that you have not only good ranking, but also that good brand reputation. So I'm from New Jersey, where the minimum speed limit is basically, 65 before you get run off the parkway. So it's always good to have a speeding ticket lawyer on call. So I go into Google Maps and I search for a New Jersey speeding ticket lawyer. Here's what I'm seeing. A lot of these people in the first few slots have no reviews. The thing that pops out here is the firm listed at number 8. They have over 23 reviews, almost 5 stars. That's who's going to get my business. Now, Google is very self-serving. They want you to use their product. It's very important that you have a claimed, optimized, and verified Google My Business page. Having your correct information on your Google My Business page, such as your brand name, your phone number, address, and website, tells Google exactly what your information is. This information is used to give Google searches for who might be in a local area, and it also pulls in information to the knowledge panel. This is what you'll see at the right side of search results, and as you can see in this slide, it highlights reviews. And another key thing about this is you can flag fake or harassing reviews once you have your profile verified. Sometimes we have angry clients, and they're going to just leave a bunch of bad reviews. You can tell Google that these are uncalled for. And lastly, Google My Business has a very low barrier of entry. Anybody can leave a review. No longer do you need a Google account or even be logged into a Google account to leave a review on the Google My Business page. So outside of user experience and your Google My Business, how does all help with SEO? Well, People need to go somewhere to see these reviews. So sites such as Abo, Yelp, Lawyers.com, Google My Business, they're providing a consistent map, which is name, address, phone number, a link back to your site, which usually be very high quality, and of course reviews. In a 2015 study done by Moz of industry professionals, it was found that external local signals, such as that NAP consistency, how many backlinks you have from these local profiles, your review quantity and quality, and your Google My Business signals account for over 35% of local ranking factors.
Soliciting your clients to post online reviews really isn't as difficult as you may think. Here at Satisfax and ApartmentRatings.com, we conducted a study. It's called the Today's Online Renter, where we surveyed over 200,000 residents. We wanted to know, if asked by your management company, would you leave a positive review? Well, 61% said yes. If my management company asked, I would definitely leave a positive review. So the follow-up question was, have you ever been asked to do so? Amazingly, and this stat blew us away, less than 14% had ever been asked to leave a positive review. That tells us two things. Number one, there are a lot of happy campers out there. And number two, all they need is a little push. Now, your unhappy clients, they don't need a push. They know exactly where to go to tell the world about their negative experience. They will tell it to every single social media site, review site, your Google search page. They have no problem. But what we do want to do is to cultivate the good things that are happening on site. Solicit those happy clients to get them to go online and to sing your praises, if you will. So go back 6 months. Just think about the last 6 months. Think about all the kudos and thank yous that your clients have given you. Those satisfied clients are a powerful marketing tool for you. And it's important to take advantage of what we consider the low-hanging fruit that's out there. So Chris is going to give you a little bit more information about how easy it is to get more online reviews.
So if you'd like to get more reviews, the first place you start is with your website. Put a button on your website that allows clients to leave a review. That button can leave reviews on your website, or it can link directly to your Google My Business page, Facebook, Lawyers.com. These are all places to have reviews. This accomplishes a few things. Firstly, it lets anybody new to your site know that here's where they can find reviews by your firm. Secondly, all your clients have probably been to your website once before. So if you have a good experience with the firm, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to take it from the top. So if you want to get more reviews, the first place you should start is with your website. Put a button on your website to review your firm. This accomplishes a few things. A, it lets anybody new to your website know that they can find reviews on your firm either right on your website, on your Facebook page, your Google page, so they don't have to go looking at other businesses. Two, it lets any client of yours now who's already been to your site keep fresh in their mind that they can go back to your website and leave a review. Now, maybe they didn't have a great experience, they want to leave a bad review. This lets you filter out reviews. So it gives you full power of the reviews that are posted on your website and usually on other platforms as well. Now, if you want to be more traditional, you start with a business card. Put your URL on the business card, and the first thing you probably notice on this business card is a QR code. QR codes are user-created and very eye-catching. You can choose wherever you want this QR to link to. It can link to your Facebook page, your business page, or your Google My Business page where they can leave a review. So if you hand this to a client, whether they're a potential client or an old client, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to scan it with their phone. So if it opens up a Google My Business page and they don't need an account to leave a review, it's more likely that they'll leave a review. So once you get them into the office, let them know where your reviews can be found. Let them know if you're listed on Yelp or Lawyers.com or have a Google My Business page. That way, while they're sitting waiting to meet for an attorney, they can be put at ease by reading reviews from other clients, and after a good experience, let them know that, hey, this is where you can find us, and leave a review about us. Again, Google My Business only takes a minute or two to leave a star rating. Now, Brian's going to get into how to get Martindale-Hubbell specific ratings.
Thank you, Chris. So we've got some great information from Leah and Chris about the importance of reviews and how it helps SEO and why you need to be part of it. I'm going to speak specifically about Martindale-Hubbell and why you should take a look at making sure to have reviews on our site.
Oh, I can't hear him.
Does that sound better? Any better at all? I'm not on a speakerphone. I'm actually on my actual phone.
Does that sound better? Okay, we saw lots of comments saying better, so I'm glad to hear that. Okay, sorry about that. We're having a little tech issues here with the phones, but we should be good now. So as I was saying, Chris and Leah gave us some great information about why you need reviews and how reviews can help specifically with search engine optimization, which is, of course, really important to get higher up on Google. I'm going to speak specifically about Martindale-Hubbell and why you want to make sure to have reviews on our sites. So the first thing about our sites is that unlike some of the other sites that have been talked about today, the people who come to our site are specifically looking for information about lawyers or law firms. If you go on Yelp, maybe somebody starts thinking about what they're going to have for dinner tonight. Everybody uses Google for everything. You get lost doing Google searches and you forgot where you started. But on our sites, if you are going to lawyers.com or martindale.com, you are looking to hire a lawyer or get more information about a legal issue before you hire a lawyer. Just some more information about our sites. As the slide notes, between lawyers.com and martindale.com, our site's got approximately 40 million visitors in 2015. And just to give you a little background about the two sites, Martindale.com, more of the attorneys on the phone may be familiar with. It's a hub for the legal community. If you're looking for papers or presentations that other law firms have posted in our legal library, or if you're just checking on a lawyer that you already know, you might go to Martindale.com. Lawyers.com is the site that's set up for the individual who's looking for an attorney. It's where we have specific practice area pages about people who are looking to understand more information about their issues. There's an Ask a Lawyer section where lawyers ask questions, and then there's general searches where you just put in a practice area and a location and get a list of lawyers in your area to do searches. Our research also shows that people who come to lawyers.com and martindale.com, we're getting more leads and better conversion rates than some of our competitors out there in the legal field. And just one other quick number, in January 2016, email leads to lawyers from lawyers.com, martindale.com, and for the websites that we host, there were over 60,000 email leads in January 2016 alone. So the Martindale-Hubbell websites, lawyers.com and martindale.com, are heavily trafficked websites by people who are looking for information on lawyers and legal issues, and who are looking at reviews as part of that decision-making process. So specifically in terms of the reviews on our websites, we have over 1 million published reviews on lawyers.com and martindale.com. That's between peer reviews and client reviews. Now, many of you may be familiar with the peer review ratings that have been around for well over a century. The AV preeminent rating is the highest rating that we have. That rating is determined based on reviews from fellow attorneys who are in the area. And they complete reviews that are sent to them by email, and attorneys have the option of either submitting a list of references to us, or we will initiate reviews on attorneys by contacting attorneys in your area. Client reviews are, as the name suggests, reviews from past clients, and those people who want to submit reviews can go to our websites and do that. And there's going to be more information later about how exactly people can start a peer review process or how they can get client reviews. But just looking at the images here on the left, the person at the top obviously doesn't have any reviews, but they just show the blank stars, whereas the person on the right has that more standout information of the star ratings, which, as Leah said before, is one of the first things people look at when they are looking at reviews. So I just wanted to bring up a sample of a peer review display that's on lawyers.com. Towards the top left, you see the new AV banner that was designed for this year. We decided, based on some input from outside parties and things, that we should provide more information on what exactly AV preeminent means. It means a lot within the legal community, but if you're just looking for a lawyer, you may not be familiar with what AV preeminent means. So we put that new language on there, peer rated for highest level of professional excellence. We also have the new high ethical standing icon. Unlike some other review sites out there, to earn one of the rating awards like AV Preeminent, the majority of the reviewers have to say you have very high ethical standards, so we wanted to highlight that. And then below that, below the practice areas, you see the categories that reviewers are asked to rate an attorney on. It's a very simple 1 to 5 scale in those 5 categories. And those 5 categories, I think, taken together, really give a full picture to a user about what a lawyer thinks about another lawyer in terms of their knowledge, their judgment, communication ability, and et cetera. And then on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the details in terms of the number of the reviews, and then each individual review, what the score was, and overall, and what the score was for each individual category. This is a sample of a client review display that's on lawyers.com. So on the left-hand side, again, you'll see the star ratings. The categories here are a little different because obviously the relationship between an attorney and another attorney is different between that and an attorney and their client. So you see things like responsiveness and value for money. On the right-hand side, you still see the review details, including written feedback that people can provide. And then also just jumping back to the left-hand side, one thing that's also in this survey that's not on the peer review survey is a question about whether or not that client would recommend that lawyer to another person. So the display shows how many of the reviewers said that they would recommend that attorney or that law firm to another party. Now, in terms of how to actually get peer reviews and client reviews, if you're interested in starting the peer review process or you already have a peer review rating and you're looking to get new reviews or a higher rating, the best way to do that is to contact our customer support team at ratings@martindale.com and just give your name and your email address and say you want to start the peer review process. They will send you access to a form that looks like what you see on the screen here. What you would need to do is search for a list of references in our database. Attorneys do have to be part of the Martindale-Hubbell database in order to take part in peer review, but there's well over 1 million attorneys who are part of the database, so you should be able to find most everyone you're looking for. One recent change: in the past we had a minimum number of references you had to submit. We recently removed that minimum. If someone only wants to submit a few names, they can do that. But we would recommend that if your goal is trying to get that AV rating or one of those awards, then you should still submit in the neighborhood of 25 or so names. Now, once you put that list together and send that to us through the online tool, attorneys will get an email from us with a link to the survey form. That email goes out within 48 hours. And people who get that email will then be able to complete the survey. And then once they fill out the survey and send it to us, it will be posted on your profile within 24 hours. So if you do submit a list of references to us, you can start to see reviews on your site within as short as maybe 3 to 5 days, depending upon the reviewers and whether or not they submit those surveys back to us. But if you're looking for that award like AV Preeminent, just to give you a heads up, it will be a minimum of 2 weeks before anything like that would be posted, because we want to make sure all of your references have the opportunity to respond. Now, in terms of the client review process, what you see here is a sample of a profile page on lawyers.com. Towards the top right corner where the peer and client reviews display, you'll see a link to submit a client review. That link also appears in search results on lawyers.com, and also if you have reviews, they appear in the client review section. There's a link. If you're looking to get client reviews, we would recommend contacting previous satisfied clients and giving them a link to your profile on lawyers.com or martindale.com, whether it's the attorney's page or the firm's page, and just ask them to click the link to submit a review. You can let them know the survey is relatively short. It takes maybe 5 minutes to fill out. The other thing I would definitely stress to any clients you contact is that there is a follow-up email that goes out to them after they submit the review, where we're just looking for confirmation that they actually provided it. And if they don't confirm submitting the review through that email, then it won't be displayed. So it's really important that they click the link in the email that says, yes, I submitted this review. Now, once you do get some reviews or you get an AV preeminent rating, it's really important to promote it. You want your prospective clients or people who come to your office or people you're interacting with to know that you have that rating. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. Towards the top left here, you have your website. These badges are available, and you can put it on your website or in other marketing materials. The top right corner, you have there's a client review plaque here. We work with a vendor called American Registry. Their website is americanregistry.com, and any rated attorneys, whether you have client reviews or peer reviews, may be eligible for a varying number of different plaques that American Registry offers. And if you go to their website and maybe give them a phone call and give them your information, they should be able to tell you what you're eligible to purchase. And I know a lot of firms have those plaques up in their their front waiting area or in conference rooms to just show off the rating to anyone who's visiting the office. The lower left corner of the image, the Bar Register of Preeminent Attorneys, there may be some people on the phone familiar with this. This is a publication that we're in the 100th anniversary of, and it's a book that only firms with AV-rated lawyers are eligible to be listed in. So if you have AV-rated lawyers in the firm, or through the peer review process, one of the attorneys now becomes AV-rated, you may be interested in purchasing a listing to be listed in that book, and that's available by contacting us. And going through that process to purchase a listing. And then another way, just noted in the lower right corner, is your email signature. We're obviously all using email all the time, and we've definitely seen attorneys who put that icon in their email signature, so it's something that clients or other attorneys see when they are exchanging emails. Now, once you do have reviews, a big component of having them and maintaining your online marketing is to respond to them. And that can be true whether they are good reviews or bad reviews. And Leah's going to come on now with some more information about how responding to reviews is helpful to your online presence.
Thanks, Brian. So that's the question, right? Should you respond to these online reviews? I mean, does it even matter in the eyes of your prospects or maybe even the person who left the review? Well, there was an interesting study by Bright Local. They conducted a study last year, and they asked consumers, which of the following, if any, does a brand's response to an online review make you think? 41% said responses show the company really cares about its consumers. 35% said a response means the company has great customer service, and 22% said that if I see a response, I think the company is trustworthy. So let's put that into context for someone who's in need of an attorney, because that's what we're talking about today. An attorney who cares about its clients, has great customer service, and is trustworthy will surely make the short list, if not be the one who actually gets that client's business. And responding to reviews also comes with distinct benefits. There's several of them. Number one, by responding, you show potential clients as well as the reviewer that you are invested in client relationships and that you truly do care. Responding also provides an opportunity to educate the reader, which is completely different from setting the record straight. In my world, the apartment world, we find that many online reviews are rooted in things like miscommunication, maybe even misunderstanding about the lease agreement or even community policies. So a response allows you the chance to provide clarity. Again, you want to educate, not sort of defend. Issuing a response also can help minimize what we consider to be the bandwagon effect. We've seen instances where a resident will post an online negative review, and then 2, 3, maybe even 4 other residents jump in and either, again, echo that same complaint, or they may even up the ante by saying something like, well, if you think that's bad, here's what's happening to me. And it just sort of goes on and on. So posting a well-crafted response before others are able to sort of fan the flames can help you get that conversation offline. And then finally, for those positive reviews, issuing a response can capitalize on that experience and become a means to actually promote your firm. We know that consumers look favorably when there's a response, so you have to have a plan. You have to have sort of a strategy in place for when and how to go about crafting the type of response that not only calms the unhappy client, shows appreciation for those who are satisfied, and promotes your business to potential clients. So that might sound like a really complicated task, but we've come up with an easy method called our Save Them technique. The them we're talking about, really it speaks to future clients who might be turning their business away based on what's posted. It also means, you know, those unhappy clients who could continue to fan the flames. Remember, these are people that don't need a roadmap as to where to go to, you know, just sort of vent their frustration or talk about their negative experience. So THEM, an easy 4-step strategy. The T stands for timing. Establish an expectation of response. It's really like a standard deadline. We recommend that negative online reviews should have a response within 1 business day. Remember, you want to minimize that bandwagon effect. If it's a positive review, I'm thinking maybe 2 business days. You do want to acknowledge, you do want to show gratitude in a timely manner. Even if it's a positive review, you don't want to just sort of sit on it and wait a week because, again, you're not really acknowledging sort of real time the effort that your positive, happy client has gone through to leave the review for you. H is for honesty, and we say it all the time. If you mess up, fess up. You know, we're all human. Mistakes do happen. Maybe you forgot to return a phone call or forgot to return an email, or maybe a procedure wasn't explained to the full understanding of the client. I tell teams that I work with that admitting fault does not mean admitting defeat. By no means does it mean that you're just a horrible business to deal with. Now, things happen. Potential clients will cut you a break if they see the honesty in your review, in your response, excuse me. E is for empathy. Bottom line, have a heart. Show genuine concern for the reviewer. Remember, your response is going to be read for years to come. And whenever possible, try to avoid corporate speak. Those are things like per our agreement and it is our policy. Those kinds of things, they go very little, you know, they do very little to show the world that you're an actual person. We want to be human beings when we are responding. And then finally, M is for message. Always write for the reader, not the reviewer. If you keep this rule in mind, you tend to have a response that comes across as more professional as opposed to combative. Negative reviews, I mean, let's just be honest, they're tough to take, especially if they're over the top or seriously inflammatory. They might say things that bring your character or your professional abilities into question. But keep in mind there are hundreds of readers as opposed to that one person who left the review. So we pulled a couple of real-world online reviews, one positive and one negative. So here's what my example or my suggestion for a response would look like. Let's start out with the positive review. He is a highly motivated professional who cares about his clients and makes his clients feel comfortable. I felt since the beginning of my case that I could trust him. Now, who wouldn't want a review like that? And I think as you are soliciting reviews from your happy clients, those who are satisfied, you're going to see this more and more being repeated online. So this is a perfect opportunity to promote your business, and remember, we want to capitalize on the good. Keep that forward momentum going. So my example or my suggestion for a response would be something like this. Thank you for the great feedback. I agree, trust is paramount for any attorney-client relationship, and I work very hard to earn that trust by making sure my clients understand the legal process and providing transparency every step of the way. Should the need for an attorney arise in the future, please do not hesitate to contact me. My door is always open. This response is jam-packed with marketing seeds. You know, you're sowing the seeds right now. First, it acknowledges the reviewer. It shows appreciation. Next, it has words in there such as trust, understand, transparency, all of those things that are important to potential clients. And finally, that response demonstrates that you're not the kind of attorney to forget all about the client after the work is done. You know, not only were you there for the client when they needed legal help, but you want to make sure they know you will be there in the future if need be. So let's look at a negative online review. It happens. I was very disappointed in the service and I received, he was not knowledgeable about my case, lack of communication, and I would not refer anyone to the firm because of him. Very disappointed and appalled at the service I received. Okay, so reviews such as this are never fun to deal with, but it happens. We know they can also have a significant negative impact on the decision-making process for future clients, so a response is not only warranted in this case, it is definitely necessary. So keeping in mind our save them method, timing, honesty, empathy, message, a response should look something like this. I'm sorry to hear your experience was less than stellar. It is always our goal to provide each client with the best representation possible. Client satisfaction is our #1 priority, and we welcome the opportunity to address and resolve your specific concerns. Please contact me directly so I can better understand how we could have served you better. Thank you for taking the time to leave your feedback, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. So this type of response, you want to make sure that you're responding as soon as possible because it gives you the opportunity to prove this is not your usual standard practice. This is that sort of one-off. Things like this don't typically happen at your firm, nor is it ever your intention to be indifferent regarding a client's experience. Remember empathy. And future clients that are reading this, they can see that you do have that layer of empathy. No tin men, you are human, and that your #1 priority is to ensure client satisfaction, even if the resolution has to come after the experience. It's okay. The response is also professional, and it's not combative. And remember, every review deserves a response, not a reaction. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Faith so we can open up the floor to any questions that are out there.
Thank you, Leah. We're moving into the question and answer portion of our presentation. But while we are doing that, while you're taking a moment maybe to submit your questions, let's just go over the next steps that you should include as you move forward. First, you need to understand that consumers are relying on reviews when buying their services. You definitely want to claim and verify your Google business profile, begin to contact clients and peers for reviews, and remember to check and respond to reviews regularly. So we have some questions that have been asked. Start with this one. Can I start with one of these? Okay, just give me a moment while I look and see. There have been quite a few that have been submitted here. Let's see. Okay, so we have one here. How reliable are the reviews that are posted on various sites? And I will hand that off to Brian. We're going to try Brian. We gave him a new headset. Hopefully that's working.
Okay, can people hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in terms of the validity of reviews, so when it comes to peer reviews on Martindale.com and lawyers.com, the reviewers have to be practicing attorneys who are listed in our database, and we have regular communications with all state bars. So if there is an issue with an attorney no longer practicing, we are contacted and their profiles taken down. So the likelihood of a false peer review is very low. Client reviews, to be completely honest, we've heard concerns before about people thinking that the reviews aren't from actual clients. I think what I would say is that as with any other review site, we can't guarantee that every person is absolutely a client. But if you have concerns about a review that you think may not be from a client or you think should be removed, as Chris mentioned earlier with Google, if you contact our customer support team, we can take a look at it and possibly remove the review.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Here's another one that's come in. Are there studies that correlate size of business and reliance on posted reviews? I think we'll give that to Leah and then maybe have Brian do a follow-up.
Yeah, there's a great study, Bright Local. It's a market research company. If you go to brightlocal.com, you can type in their search bar, online review study. They have several of them. I'm not sure if they are categorized by company size or business type, but it just gives you a lot more information to work with. I think as we saw from the poll results, that regardless of the size of the business or even demographically or geographically, these online reviews are becoming more and more a contributing factor when people are making major decisions, and even minor decisions in some cases.
And the other thing I'd say there too, Leah, as well, is that, as we saw in the poll and as we all know, if most people are looking at reviews when they're looking at things in personal life, and they know that there's a place where they can see reviews when they're making decisions in their position as in-house counsel for a corporation, they're going to go look at those reviews as well. And I can tell you that, from our experience working with larger firms, they are still making big pushes to get as many AV-rated lawyers as possible because it's regularly a part of RFPs they receive from potential clients to know how many attorneys are AV-rated or what are the ratings of the attorneys who would be working on this. So it is something that on the in-house counsel corporate side that people are looking at when making decisions in terms of the law firm they're going to hire.
Okay, we have another really good question here. Is it appropriate to ask clients to leave a review while at our office? For example, having a computer available for a client's use to leave a review. And I'm going to ask Chris to respond to that, and maybe Leah wants to weigh in.
Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. I switched out this as well. So it would be great to ask your clients to leave your review. Having a computer is not the best idea because if a website starts seeing a lot of reviews going in for a firm from the same IP address, they're going to start flagging those reviews as being fake. So you can have signage as mentioned, saying that, hey, you can find us here. You can send follow-up emails out to clients saying, here's links to all of our review sites. Please leave a review if you felt we had a great job. And, of course, also direct them to your website where they can leave a review as well.
Leah, did you want to weigh in on that as well?
Yeah, I think anytime there's, that client interaction, a good rule, some type of a follow-up email or text message says, thank you so much for your business today or stopping in today. In terms of which sites to direct them to, that one takes a little bit of research. When clients are coming in, obviously, or hopefully you're asking, how did you hear about us? If you hear the same sort of website over and over, oh, I found you on Yelp, or I found you on Google, you want to direct them to where traffic normally goes. If you give your clients a long list of 3, 4, 5 different review sites, they may just select the first one. So look at where potential clients are finding you. I think lawyers.com should definitely be in that mix because, again, that is becoming more and more sort of the standard go-to after your Google searches and what's showing up on page 1 of your Google results. But anytime there's any kind of a client interaction, you know, that touch point, you want to be following up either email, voicemail, text message, and, you know, adding that in there.
Great, thank you. Another question, is it appropriate to use we to respond to a review? We are sorry to hear, we are glad you were perfect, we're great for our services. Leah, maybe you want to respond to that one?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I saw that pop up. If someone in particular is being mentioned in the review, I think the response should come from that singular person. You know, I'm so sorry to hear, it is always my intention, things like that. If it's a great review for just in general, oh, they were so helpful, if they're using a plural term in their review, I'd use the plural in my response.
Okay. And then this one maybe would be best answered by Brian. May an attorney ethically offer a reduction in fees in return for an online review?
I don't know if I'm the best, but here's what I would say. I am not aware of any states that have ethical rules regarding something like that. And after the fact, if it was seen as any sort of compensation for providing a review, that may be a concern. But I think the best, you know, suggestion for a question like that would be to consult with your local state bar ethics rules regarding that.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, Faith, if I can jump in, there is a ruling from the FCC that you cannot solicit for positive reviews. So you can't offer an incentive for a positive review. Hey, if you go online and you give us all 5 stars, we'll give you this. What you can do is you can say that for any and all reviews, positive, negative, neutral, we are able to offer this, but it has to be for every single client regardless of the content or type of review that you receive.
Okay, great. That's good information. Thank you, Leah. I have one more for Leah probably. I worry that responding to a negative review would risk another negative review from the disgruntled client.
Yes, and we see this all the time in our world. It does happen, but what we have to do, and we say this time and time again, we have to give the reader some credit. If you have a client who goes online and they leave a negative review, you issue a response and you attempt to take the conversation offline. Hey, please contact me. Here's my information. I'd love to know specifically what your concerns are so that, you know, we can work towards a resolution. If the client comes back and sort of, you know, piggybacks on your response, or if you have another client who jumps in there and says, you know, well, what about me? This is what happened to me. Your reviewer, or your reader, excuse me, is going to shut down. They're not going to pay as much attention to that chatter because they see a response from you that is very professional, that is, you know, trying to take the conversation to a place where, okay, we don't need this public forum. Let's sit down. Let's try and work our way towards a resolution. So it could open up the door to other clients, but again, we're writing our responses for the reader. And the reader gets a better sense of your professionalism if you're not sort of feeding into that frenzy.
And Leah, I just wanted to throw in too about our websites, which may be a little different from other sites out there. We do offer the opportunity for attorneys to respond to reviews, but that's it in terms of the interaction. The reviewer is not notified or given an opportunity to provide a follow-up response to the attorney's response. And also, we have controls on our site that prevent people from going in and submitting multiple reviews. We have a language in the client review form that says, you know, you haven't reviewed this lawyer or firm within the last 12 months, and if people try and submit multiple reviews, we actually block the follow-up ones from displaying. So we try and avoid that situation through our internal systems to prevent people from going on and just leaving, you know, several negative reviews.
Yeah,
Okay.
and on those websites that do allow a response or a reply to your response, I would recommend that if the situation has been resolved to the satisfaction of the original reviewer, ask that original reviewer, hey, would you mind posting a follow-up? We've seen it on apartmentratings.com where a renter, a resident, will post a negative review. The management team jumps in, is able to resolve the issue, and then the reviewer comes back and says, well, you guys, it's been 30 days, this is what's happened, I'm a happy camper now, everything seems to be going okay. So that can actually help in terms of educating those potential clients out there.
Okay, that's great. We have another question, which I think I'll direct to Chris. How do you know if you have received a review so you can respond in a timely manner?
Oh, that's a great question. So it depends on where your review is at. If you have your Facebook profile, your Yelp profile, and your Google My Business profile, it's great to have them bookmarked so you can check them once a day, once every other day for reviews. There's also services that will do review tracking for you, which will alert you immediately when you receive a new review.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, and you can also sign up for Google+. It's free, and what you do is you just kind of type in some search criteria, your company name, your firm, your location, things like that, and anytime a review is posted that contains those keywords, you'll get a notification. So that's, that's helpful too because it kind of searches across multiple websites.
Okay, and I have another one that I think also is directed to Chris. Our Google listing has a negative review from a person who is not a client. How hard is it to get Google to take down the review?
Unfortunately, this is a pretty common occurrence where somebody, especially in divorce cases, will just continually post negative reviews. Now, if you have a verified Google My Business page, there is an option to flag those reviews as being fake or inflammatory. And after a week or two, if they don't come down, you can contact Google My Business's contact phone number and explain to them the situation, and they're usually really good about taking those reviews down.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, for Brian, does lawyers.com notify an attorney of a client review when it comes in, or does the lawyer have to go to the profile each time?
So currently, we're working on, I think that the majority of attorneys do get a notification when a review comes in. It's an email that advises them there's a review, and then they to the profile. And we are currently working on a fix to make sure those notifications go out to everyone.
Oh, yep, we are again. Can you take Chris's phone? Okay.
Better?
There he is.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We're having a little bit of audio issues here. So I was saying the majority of attorneys who are listed on our websites will get a notification when a client review is submitted that lets them know there's a review and where they can see it and also how to respond. We are currently working on some fixes to make sure that those go out to everyone, but the big thing about that is to make sure that your email address is part of your profile with us. If we don't have an email address for you, we're not able to contact you. So if you're not sure whether you have your email address with us or if you are going, maybe change firms recently and you want to make sure your information is up to date, I would contact our customer support team, info@martindale.com or ratings@martindale.com with your current information, and we can make sure that it's updated.
Great, thank you, Brian. Here's a question maybe for Leah. Should I respond to every review?
Yes, but we have to take into consideration the age of the review itself. I think if you're just starting out and you're just now, doing reviews, if you have reviews that are, few years old, I don't think you necessarily need to respond back. But if they are the only reviews that you have, It's from 2014. You don't have anything else that's current. It might be nice to go ahead and just sort of acknowledge. If it's a negative review, I don't think you need to get into the mix with the timing. It's sort of like a stale review at that time. Standard practice, if you're starting out right now today, I would respond to every review that's been posted so far in 2016. Don't think you necessarily need to go any older than that, because again, we're considering the reader. Older reviews tend to lose their power the longer that they sit.
Okay, great, thank you. And we have just about 1 minute left, so I'm going to squeeze in one more question for Brian. Can I opt out or not take part in reviews if I don't want to?
Thanks, Faith. So on the Martindale-Hubbell websites, we do offer the option of opting out of reviews when it comes to peer reviews. When you opt out, you wouldn't be eligible to be reviewed, and if you were selected as a reference, we don't contact you. We don't recommend that, but it is an option. And another option, which is available, but we don't, to be honest, completely recommend, is suppressing reviews on our sites. And when reviews are suppressed, the scores and the written feedback and all the details that you saw on the slides earlier are hidden, but they're replaced with language that says that the lawyer or firm has chosen not to display their reviews. I think in most circumstances, people, if they see that information, they will expect the scores or the information to be lower than it actually is. So it's not an option we recommend, but it is one that we offer.
Okay, great, thank you. Unfortunately, we are out of time for our webinar. We do appreciate you all attending. If we did not get to answer the questions you submitted, we will try to answer those offline. And additionally, you could submit questions through the survey, the follow-up survey that you'll be receiving. So thank you all very much for attending. I'd also like to thank our presenters, Leah, Chris, and Brian, for your time and your expertise. And I hope everyone has a great day.